Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and Restless official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. At the Abbott home, Diane noted that Jack was worried about something. Jack told Diane that he had a friend who was struggling with something and that he might have to help. Diane told Jack that she wouldn't pry, but Jack wanted there to be no more secrets between them. Jack told Diane that before he could confide in her, he had to admit something about himself. Jack told Diane that, years earlier, he had become addicted to painkillers during his recovery from a gunshot wound. Jack was disgusted with himself for all the lies, secrets, guilt, and shame that had occurred during his attempts to hide his addiction. Diane asked Jack where Kyle had been during that dark time. Jack told her it was Kyle who had leaked the story of Jack's addiction to a gossip column, to serve as a wake-up call to his father. Jack told Diane that Neil and Phyllis had helped him through his withdrawal. Diane assured Jack that, despite her dislike of Phyllis, she was glad Phyllis had been there to help Jack when he needed it. He then told Diane that the friend who was in trouble was Nikki. Jack told Diane that Nikki had relapsed before and had persevered, but that this time, Nikki's sponsor had also slipped. Jack told Diane about how Lauren had asked him to help Nikki, due to Jack's insider's perspective. Diane wanted to know what had caused Nikki's relapse. Jack told Diane that Lauren had only given him part of the story. Jack asked if Diane had a problem with him helping Nikki. Diane assured Jack that she wouldn't get in the way of anyone's recovery. Diane then expressed concern that if Jack helped Nikki, it could reawaken his own addiction. Absolutely not, Jack assured her, then Diane pledged Jack her full support. Nikki arrived at her office and found Seth going through her desk's drawers. Seth explained that because she had neither answered his calls nor replied to his texts, he'd been afraid Nikki was drinking again. He apologized for having overstepped, but Nikki turned the accusation back on him. "I'm not the only one who's started drinking again, am I?" Nikki asked Seth. Seth told Nikki he was worried after she'd contacted him then not replied to his attempts at communication. Nikki remarked that Seth had promised to respond quickly to a request for help, but he hadn't. Seth asked if Nikki was deflecting and if she'd been drinking that day. Nikki declared her sobriety then accused Seth of being the one to use evasion, a tactic at which she was an expert. Seth swore he had gone to Nikki's office to check on her, but Nikki didn't buy it. Seth then admitted that he had, in fact, fallen, something he hadn't done in years. Nikki asked if Seth had been to a meeting. When Seth asked if they could go together, Nikki reminded him that they couldn't help each other and that she could no longer rely on him as her sponsor. Nikki advised Seth to call his sponsor. Seth pleaded with Nikki that despite his status as her sponsor being off the table, he still needed her as a friend. Nikki told Seth that her sobriety was too precarious for her to be around him. As Seth pleaded with Nikki to reconsider, Audra entered the office. She apologized for interrupting, but Nikki told her that Seth was just leaving. Seth took the hint and apologized as he left. "I'm sorry I let you down, Nikki," Seth said. Nikki replied, "Don't worry about me. You take care of yourself, and I'll do the same." Nikki thanked Audra for sharing information about the struggle Audra's father had faced with alcoholism. Then, she confided in Audra that Seth was Nikki's sponsor, that he'd been drinking, and that she feared her rejection of him would send Seth further down into a spiral. Audra offered to help. Nikki remarked on the heretofore unseen thoughtful side of Audra. Audra admitted to ambitiously prioritizing her work and career, but that this was her one and only soft spot. "I don't know if I believe that," Nikki replied then thanked Audra for her offer to help. At that moment, Nikki received a text from Jack. He asked her to meet him at his house. Kyle ran into Tucker at Society. Kyle asked if Tucker still planned to go after him. Tucker nonchalantly said, "Nah," and that he had just been angry after Kyle had punched him. Tucker suggested that the next time Kyle wanted to brawl, they should put on the gloves and step in the ring. Kyle replied, "I'm not looking for any more fistfights, but if you twist my arm enough, maybe I'll make an exception for you." Tucker invited Kyle to sit down with him so that they could clear the air between them. Kyle was skeptical. Tucker said he had grown to respect Kyle and admired Kyle's loyalty to the Abbott family. Kyle wondered why Tucker had let him play out the plot to take Tucker down if he had been aware of Kyle being a double agent the whole time. Tucker confessed that he had hoped the information Kyle had relayed to his family would have kept the Abbotts guessing and caused them to turn on each other. Tucker also admitted that if Kyle had provided him with anything really useful, that would have been a bonus. Kyle pointed out that Tucker's master plan had failed, that the Abbotts hadn't turned on each other, that Kyle had given up nothing of value, and that the leak of the cover-up scandal had done serious damage to Tucker's reputation. Tucker asked Kyle what it was about the Abbott family that inspired such loyalty and devotion. Kyle was smooth and smug as he noted that Tucker's son wasn't speaking to him and that Tucker had no idea how to be a good parent or part of a family. Kyle went on to say that the only relationship Tucker had been able to maintain was the twisted one he had with Audra. Kyle called Tucker's relationship with Audra transactional, and he said that once Audra realized she could be rich and powerful without him, she would drop Tucker. Kyle told Tucker, "Family loyalty is a mystery to you because you only know how to burn bridges, not build them." Tucker posited that the Abbotts were just as mean-spirited and aggressive as anyone he'd ever known. He suggested that the Abbotts needed a common enemy so that they wouldn't turn on each other. Tucker challenged Kyle, "Look me in the eye and tell me at no point did you want to throw in with me in exchange for the top spot at Jabot." Kyle didn't respond immediately. Tucker smiled and said, "Never mind. I guess there's really nothing to admire about the Abbotts." Then, he added, "By the way, I'm still coming for you." Diane left the Abbott home as Nikki arrived. Jack tried to play it off that he was merely concerned about the Newman family's recent ordeal, but Nikki shut down what she called his fishing expedition. Nikki accused, "Jack, I know you're a good liar, but you're not that good. Lauren told you everything, didn't she?" Jack admitted that Lauren was worried about Nikki. He offered 24/7 support to Nikki and assured her that she would not be a burden. "Why is this so important to you?" Nikki asked Jack. "Because I care about you," Jack replied. Jack added, "And there's another reason. Because when you first started drinking, we were married, and I did not handle it well at all." Jack told Nikki he still carried a lot of guilt about that. Jack told Nikki he would be there for her, day or night. "Let me be the one you call," he asked. Audra went to the athletic club, where Tucker approached her. Tucker apologized for disappointing her and hoped she wouldn't stay angry. Audra told him it wasn't about anger but that she wanted to distance herself from Tucker's toxicity. Tucker told Audra that he still had big plans for her at Glissade. "Count me out," Audra declared. She asked Tucker if he had finally turned his back on Ashley once and for all. Tucker told Audra his feelings for Ashley would have no impact on his and Audra's working relationship. Audra didn't buy that. She identified Ashley as being Tucker's Achilles heel and said that Ashley was the reason Tucker hadn't anticipated the Abbotts would leak the cover-up scandal. Audra told Tucker, "You refuse to accept that she's not the one you should be with," to which he responded, "Who do you think I should be with?" Audra accused Tucker of thinking she was about to name herself because they were two selfish people who put their ambitions first and didn't let anger get between them.